everyone, welcome to my first ever cosplay tips and tricks video. I've got this camera angle and I've got this camera angle, spicing it up a little bit. Basically, it's just gonna be my perspective on cosplay. I have been a cosplayer for, I wanna say 4 years now. I'm not really sure, don't quote me on that. I don't actually motherfreaking know. I lose track of time really easily. Yeah, it's actually funny because I had a conversation with my friend earlier today and we were talking about how I'm late to everything. If you guys come to my streams, you unfortunately know this. Oh my god, my kitty. Kitty! Come here, Kyo. Oh, he hates me. Come here, honey. He's my handsome man. We're building a tuxedo cat Lego set right now, and it's gonna look just like him. Oh, hello, mister. He's so grumpy. I am cosplaying Goth Momo Ayase from Dawn to Dawn. I hope I'm saying her last name right, because I actually don't know.
Name pronunciation, Ayase.
I am going to start with the comments that were on the YouTube post. And for future videos like this, I go on the post section, and I post about it there. So the first comment I got, if you want to begin cosplaying, where should you start? What should be the first step? I think that the first step to cosplaying would be to pick a character. Obviously, you're probably going to want to pick an easier character, someone who doesn't have, you know, tons of armor or elaborate accessories. I recommend picking a character that looks kind of like you and that really resonates with you. I only cosplay characters that I resonate with or that I honestly think look cool. And it usually makes the experience a lot more enjoyable. I don't like cosplaying characters that I don't like, even if people request it, just because I don't want to do that. When it comes to starting the cosplay, I highly recommend doing a closet cosplay if you can. A closet cosplay is basically where you just take whatever you have in your closet and you just mash it together. And then you form a beautiful cosplay. As far as wigs go, my first cosplay, I did not wear a wig. I didn't even know wigs were like, I knew they were real, but I didn't even know like that was a thing that people did. For when I cosplayed Wendy Marvel from Fairy Tail, my grandma sewed the whole outfit. I don't know if they had any cosplay sites back then. Nowadays, you can buy cosplays online. I usually use Mick Costumes or Doki Doki, and I've done a few other platforms. Otherwise, Amazon. Amazon is my go-to, bro, but they don't always have the cosplays that you want. What are good makeup brands you recommend for new cosplayers? I recently switched to Fenty, but Fenty is hella pricey. It is very expensive. I used to do a lot of Maybelline. Maybelline has much more affordable products, but I will admit I went through it a lot quicker and I felt like it just wasn't as good for my skin. I'm not sure if that's proven. I don't know if that's factual. The Fenty products I use right now are the Fenty Contour Foundation, the Fenty Concealer. I use Morphe eyeliner. I actually really like Morphe eyeliner. It's like $12 a tube. I like it a lot. I also use Morphe setting powder and Morphe setting spray. Morphe is a great brand if you can find it. I don't know if they have a lot of physical stores, but they sell it at Ulta. Honestly, I recommend just going into Ulta and testing out a few products. But my top 3 makeup brands that I use as of right now is Maybelline is the cheaper side, Morphe is probably a little in between, and then Fenty if you're looking to spend like a decent amount of money on makeup. But yeah, get your money's worth. I promise you that. As far as lipstick, this is Lime Crime Matte Black lipstick, but I just like buy whatever brand for lipstick. I've done NARS, I've done Too Faced, I've done literally a bunch of them, so you'll figure it out. Is styling wigs hard? Can you show us your wigs? Do you wear wigs? Have you worn wigs? When will you wear wigs? Styling wigs? I wouldn't say styling wigs is hard. Wait, no, I take that back. It definitely is hard. It's not hard to me anymore because I love styling wigs, low-key. A lot of cosplayers motherfreaking hate it. As you can see, this is my Momo wig. I think it turned out very nice. I accidentally bought too dark of a shade, so I airbrushed the wig like in the center to make it look like a lighter brown and give it some more dimension. But when I first started cosplaying, I didn't even know that you could cut your wig, so it's a learning curve. I would say styling wigs is mediocre. It's a learning process. As far as wigs that I can show you guys, I will show you one wig because I'm lazy. This is my Roxanne Wolf wig from Five Nights at Freddy's.
Czy to Freddy Fazbear?
I like this wig a lot, but this was when I first started like cosplaying, kind of, if that makes sense. I didn't really know what I was doing for the wig styling, so you can see a lot of texture on there. You can see like my crimp marks, and this green piece is actually just sewn in. If I were to remake this wig, I would probably go for a false hairline and do that like little swoop that she has. That's just because I didn't know that you could do that at the time. So it's a learning process, and I think it turned out really nice. It was honestly my first wig that I crimped. Yeah, there's a lot to it. Hello everybody, my name is Markiplier. Sorry, that's my mark. Mother freaking attention hog, dude. We're gonna move on to the Instagram comments that people had because I didn't get a lot of YouTube comments. I gotta step your game up. So as someone who doesn't have a lot of money but wants to cosplay, what would you suggest I do? I would suggest closet cosplay. But if you don't have the pieces to closet cosplay, thrifting is my go-to. It's honestly getting a little more expensive, which sucks, but also you do sometimes find some really good gems in there, and I think it's like also a fun activity to just do with your friends, or take your mom thrifting. I'm sure she would love to go thrifting with you. Take your grandma thrifting, and you can thrift for cosplay supplies and she can thrift for whatever grandma's thrift for. So yeah, my answer would be thrifting overall, otherwise making it if you can. This person asked advice for beginners. I got a lot of advice just flowing around in this noggin. My best advice for beginners would be, oh my god, please have fun. I feel like cosplaying at times can get so tedious and it doesn't become fun anymore. And I hate that because I love cosplaying, but sometimes if you push yourself to do it, it just takes the enjoyment out of it. So have fun, relax, be confident, and always know that there's room for learning. You're not gonna have the perfect cosplay in the beginning. You're probably not gonna have the perfect cosplay for a while. You may never have the perfect cosplay. Honestly, I think what makes cosplay so fun is taking a character and formatting it to you and doing your own style. Like for me, I like to add these little gems to my characters. I like to add glitter. I like to do very big animated wigs. My biggest advice would be just have fun with it and make it you. Make it personal. Get real close and personal with your characters, if you know what I mean. Next one. How did you make your cosplays? I mean, that's crazy. You make cosplay like twice per week. How? So I don't. Actually, I fooled you all. I just posted drafts. But no, in all reality, I do make cosplays pretty quick. This outfit that I made here, this is actually based off of artwork. This is not a Canon Momo outfit, but I made this shirt. That shirt was really easy to make. All I basically did was take some vinyl, cut it out on my Cricut, and then iron it onto this shirt that I bought on Amazon. But if you don't have a Cricut, then it does make it a little more complicated. I highly recommend them. They're so nice. But I didn't get a Cricut until like my third year of cosplaying, so it is a more down the line investment. Same with the 3D printer, but they save you so much time. They're so nice. Is cardboard a good material to use when trying to make things like armor or props? Yes and no. It depends on the prop. I wouldn't use cardboard for armor. I would use EVA foam and then maybe Worbla on top of it, or you could 3D print your armor too if you have a 3D printer. As far as props, you can use cardboard in props, but I would definitely put something over it because cardboard is not very sturdy, and if it gets wet, you're screwed. Oh my gosh, one time I made my mother freaking loot spear out of a tiny wooden dowel, and oh my god, this is so embarrassing. Okay, so I was cosplaying Loot to Anime Detour a year or something ago, and Brandon Rogers was there, and so all my friends were in line to go see him, and I was like, you know what, why the hell not? I liked his vines, and so I got in line and I was gonna get a picture and an autograph, and I bent down to pay for my belongings, and I broke my spear in half in front of Brandon Rogers. I was so sad. It was just a tiny wooden dowel. So basically, moral of the story, be prepared and know that you're gonna want to have a sturdier prop or costume. Trust me, it is so worth it. Do you buy any cosplays and where do you buy them? So I kind of answered this earlier, but I buy some of my cosplays. I bought my Mitsuri, my Shinobu, and a bunch of other ones. I bought majority of them from Make Costume, and some of them I actually got from Amazon. I've also done Easy Cosplay, Doki Doki, but you can try some other cosplay sites. Just look at like reviews and whatnot, because sometimes cosplay sites don't sell the cosplay you want and then you have to go to like some sketchy website. I have done AliExpress before as well. They do actually ship. They just take like a month or two. Be prepared. A lot of cosplay sites take like 4 weeks to ship, so just a little forewarning there. What do you use for making armor and what is a good starting material to work with? So I also touched on this a little bit earlier, but I haven't really made a lot of armor. If I were to make armor, I would do EVA foam and probably put Worbla over it. No, I have kind of made armor. I did my Pit Fighter Vi like little wrist piece. That was made of EVA foam, and then I contact cemented some leather fabric over the top of it to make it look like a leather bracelet, and then I like used EVA foam, and then I made these like little strips to go on top of it, and that's how you like, it's hard to explain, but basically I did EVA foam with leather. You can do EVA foam, Worbla, and then like paint that and add weathering, and I think that just makes it feel like more like actual armor because it gives it that like hard surface. I've only ever used Worbla. For my Shizuku cosplay from Hunter x Hunter, I made her Binky and his tongue was made out of Worbla, but it's nice. It makes it hard. Otherwise 3D printing thrifting is always a good safe bet, and it's easy. So any ideas to boost confidence for cosplaying? Whew, that's a little tricky. I will admit, sometimes I'm not feeling the most confident, and I just gotta tell myself, go for it. You do cosplay for you, and if you're sharing it online, that's great. That's what I do. I share my cosplays online, and now I do content creation. Well, I didn't start cosplaying. I started other ways, but I got into cosplaying. I rediscovered my love for it. My best bet for boosting confidence is probably to just go for it. Literally go for it. Make it till you fake it. Wait, no. God dang it. Fake it till you make it. That's right. Yeah, do that one, not the first one. I guarantee you, if you fake your confidence, you're slowly gonna actually genuinely feel more confident. That's why people who just like act confident are confident. If you're gonna do something, do it all the way, period. How hard is it to gain traction in the cosplay community? Ooh, honestly, I actually don't think it's too bad. I will admit in the beginning, it's a little tricky, but you are gonna have to figure out your staple. That's why I was telling you guys to take cosplay and make it into something more you. It gives it a more unique spin on it, and it just keeps things fresh. And also it just makes it more fun for you. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I guess maybe you're talking about cosplay community. I would recommend, yeah, doing social media helps a lot. I don't know, it's like kind of creepy because it kind of like connects you with people in your area. It's like kind of freaky, dude. Your phone's like listening to you, but it works. Or Facebook groups are great. Joining Facebook groups is a great way to just meet other cosplayers, and you can also follow conventions on social medias in your area. I would recommend going to conventions. That is a great way to meet a lot of people in the cosplay community. It spirals from there. Once you meet someone, you're gonna meet someone else, and it's like a big old snowball that turns into a snowman. I don't know. How do you make sure things fit as close as possible from the first time and not have to fix it a lot? Measure yourself before you order anything and compare it to the size chart that the company is giving you before you purchase it. If your measurements aren't 100% accurate to the place you're ordering from, you can always get a custom made outfit. But what I would rather recommend is you buy a bigger size. You can either hire somebody to alter it for you, or it's really easy. If you have a sewing machine, put the cosplay on, pin it to where you want it, and then just sew it in. Like sew the extra fabric in, and you can always cut it off if you need the excess fabric that's left over. I do it a lot with shirts. I will put a shirt on and then I'll cinch it in and I'll just sew it. It doesn't look great because I don't care if it looks great. So I just like go for it and I get the job done, but it does help a lot. So I highly recommend doing that if you can. How do you make your hair work for bigger wigs? Wig cap. You put your hair in a little low bun and you put the wig cap over your head, and then you put the wig on. The wig cap helps just like compress your hair. If you're having more issues, I've seen people braid their hair before putting it in a wig cap, and that's supposed to help. I've never done it personally because I'm lazy, but it works for me just putting a wig cap on. But yeah, put your hair in a ponytail first. I want to get into cosplay, but I don't know what material would be beginner friendly to work with. So that just completely depends on the cosplay that you're gonna be doing. A lot of cosplayers use EVA foam, me included. Another big thing that you're gonna use with EVA foam is contact cement. That's how you glue the pieces together. You're probably gonna want an X-Acto knife or a box cutter to cut the EVA foam. You're probably gonna want like a heat gun to shape the EVA foam. And there's just like a lot to it. It just genuinely really depends on what you're cosplaying. So if you're cosplaying a character, see if there's any tutorials on YouTube or any guides. Work from there. Do you ever take apart old cosplays to make new ones? Yes, I do actually. This is a great way to save money as a cosplayer. Reduce, reuse, recycle. No, I don't actually know if that applies here. I don't know why I said that actually. Yeah, I do reuse old cosplays pretty frequently. Recently, I just cosplayed Blackfire and I realized her wig was so similar to Misato's wig from Neon Genesis. And so I just took that wig, I put it on, I straightened it a bit, and then I just trimmed the bangs a little more. And voila, I had a Blackfire wig just sitting in my closet. And that saved me like $15 and probably 4 hours of time. There's also my toga outfit. I took that blue skirt that came with her outfit and I've been using that for so many cosplays. My shirt for my Reze cosplay from Chainsaw Man, I've been using that as an undershirt for like my original Momo or just a bunch of other things. So it's a great way to, yeah, save money. Reuse your cosplays if you can, and especially wigs. It is going to save you so much time and so much money. Where would be the easiest to find materials for a selected cosplay? My top areas that I buy cosplay materials from is actually Amazon, Walmart, surprisingly, Michael's, and JoAnn's. But unfortunately, JoAnn's is closing. Where am I gonna get my fabric? I'm gonna cry, but it's fine. It's fine. It's not cheap. So I recommend getting the apps and trying to get deals if you can, or shopping during sales. That's always a great way to save some money. Or you can also thrift some cosplay supplies, actually, like fabrics or, you know, shirts, and just sew them or alter them. That helps a lot too. About how much do you spend on to make just one cosplay? I'm assuming they meant how much do you spend on materials. That varies so heavily. I want to say on average, I spend anywhere from like $200 to $400 on materials for a cosplay. That also just really depends, because sometimes I'll only spend like $100 or sometimes I'll spend like $800.
What? It's just an ordinary crabby. Oh my goodness!
It really just depends, especially with fabric, because if you get a more expensive fabric, it'll, you know, cost a lot more. Or if I like custom print a bodysuit online and then sew it when it comes in, you know what I'm saying? It really depends on the character and how big the build is. But I would say on average, maybe like $100 to $200 on materials. And I always have leftover materials, so save that, because then you can use that for future cosplays. What is the best makeup to color yourself with? If you need to change your skin tone for a cosplay, like if you need to paint yourself blue, orange, green, yada, 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 I use the Mayron cream sticks. The only downside about cream sticks is that they wash off with water. So if you sweat a lot, it's going to affect that. Or if it rains, it is going to affect that. I also have used the water activated paint from Mayron. That works really well too. I use that for my Itsuzumi cosplay to kind of showcase like the fur growing on my leg, and that worked really nicely, but I did sweat some of it off, so that was the downside. Otherwise, I recently discovered sunset makeup, and I did my blue for Ranny in the sunset makeup, and I really liked that a lot. I don't think that like had any residue that came off. So if you have the money and have the time to wait, I recommend sunset makeup. Otherwise, Mayron has some good products. How do I find trustable sites for wigs? Every time I find one, someone says the site is a scam. Yeah, I buy all my wigs on Amazon. If for whatever reason Amazon doesn't have your wig, then I've done Arcudo wigs. I'm probably not saying that right. That might not even be the name, but I think I bought a wig from there one time. I don't think I ever got it. Huh? Maybe I did. No, I don't know actually. I don't actually know. Amazon, just stick with Amazon if you can. They usually have some pretty good wigs on there. But other than that, I've never really tried any other places. What frustrates you the most about cosplay? I want to say the biggest thing that frustrates me is every time I want to cosplay a really elaborate character, like Mother freaking Hella from Marvel Rivals. I'm doing her to Anime Expo, by the way. It's gonna happen. But that character is so complicated. And then I undertake the project and it takes me like weeks to do, and then I finish it and I'm like not satisfied. That is probably the biggest thing I hate about cosplay, is that every time I finish a cosplay, I spend so much time, so much effort, put so much work into it, my heart, my soul, my blood, my tears, my saliva, a lot of stuff. I put a lot of effort into these cosplays, and they come out and I'm like, oh, I could have done better. That's like the first thing I say, which is honestly not a good mentality to have. You always have to like appreciate your work, but it is great to, you know, realize you have room for improvement. But that's probably the biggest thing I hate about it. Do you find it better to make a piece, a wig, etc. yourself, or buying a pre-made one? So that really just depends. Sometimes I'm lazy and I don't want to make the cosplay or the wig, so I just buy a pre-made one. Actually, no, I've only ever styled my own wigs. I really like wig styling though, so I'm okay with that. But sometimes I'll buy the cosplays online. The downside to that though is that sometimes they're really cheaply made, they fall apart, they don't fit right, and it shows a lot. So if it's like a character I really care a lot about, then I'll try to make the outfit myself. I like making my own cosplays if I can. It just takes a lot of time and effort. I'm making a 3D printed Iron Man helmet. How would I fix the cracks? I had to print it in separate pieces. I've tried wood filler, and I've tried this other thing that a lot of like 3D printer people use, but it's like low-key toxic and I don't like it that much. It's like orange. I can't remember what it's called, but I do not recommend it. When I'm fixing like big deep crevices, I use wood filler, and then you can put like a little layer of wood glue on top when you're done like letting the wood filler dry. Otherwise, I recently bought this one product and it's a lifesaver, but that doesn't fill like deep crevices. That fixes like layer lines, but you still have to sand blend down the layer lines before you put this on. But I highly recommend it. It works really well, like really well. How do you cosplay people with different body proportions from your own? If I'm like cosplaying a character with like a big belly, I wear a fat suit, like for my Eggman cosplay or my Shrek cosplay. Otherwise, if like I need to change my body proportion, like if I need like a snatched waist, I wear a corset if I can. Or if I need to like, you know, bring my upper region in, I will tape it down. It's not like good for it, but it does work. It does work for like the day or for the cosplay. So that's what I usually do. I know some people, like if they need to change their jawline for like a male cosplay, a lot of people use like medical face tape to tape their, you know, skin up to like get a snatched jawline and stuff. I personally have not tried that yet, but I did buy some. So if I ever do a male cosplay, might be getting that snatched jawline. Like literally. Most difficult costume you ever made? My Ranny cosplay, by far. Ranny from Elden Ring. That cosplay took me like a month to make, and that was because I sewed the entire thing from scratch and it took so long, but it was so worth it. And there's a lot of things that I would fix on it, but I don't have energy for it. How would you make a cosplay as close to as you could without spending too much money? So I'm assuming you're talking about how would I make a cosplay super accurate without spending a lot of money? Honestly, I don't know. Buy cheap material maybe, or try to buy it pre-made. I don't actually know how to answer that one. On average, how long does it take to make a cosplay? If I'm making a cosplay from scratch, I would say probably like 1 to 2 weeks if I'm like going crazy. If it's a big build, then maybe 2 to 4 weeks. It just really depends on the cosplay and how big it is and how elaborate it is. Ranny. Do you use a 3D printer for some things? And if so, which 3D printer? I do. I have a Anycubic Cobra Max and I like it a lot. I'm pretty sure there's definitely some better 3D printers out there, but I got mine on Black Friday, so I got like $300 off. So I just got that one, but it works nicely for what I need it for. What do you do if a part of the costume is hard to find? If you can't find a part of your cosplay, then you can always go on Etsy and try to commission someone to make it for you. You know, there's no shame, because oftentimes the cosplay piece that you need, you can't make because you don't have the machines to make it. So commissioning someone is totally chill, or maybe you don't have the time or the energy or the money, yada, yada, yada. Commissioning is a great alternative, but if you can, I mean, I would just figure out a way to make it yourself. What do you do with your cosplays after you're done with them? I store all of them in my apartment. My apartment is crying for help right now. I have cosplays from 4 years ago I'm emotionally attached to and I can't get rid of. So they're all piled up in my apartment. But I'm actually opening a Depop soon, so if you want to buy some of my old cosplays, you can check out my Depop. I'm going to be selling them on there. Yay! How do you do the cosplay eye makeup, please? I always struggle. It just looks like glam. Basically, what I do with my cosplay makeup is I try to make my eyes look bigger. So when I'm drawing my eyeliner on, I like bring it down and then I add false lower lashes with eyeliner. I use like a dark brown shade and I draw a line under my eye. I don't know what the style is called, but it just makes your eye look bigger and I love it so much. But this is not my normal cosplay makeup because I made my eyeliner go up just because I'm doing a goth Momo, but usually I make my eyeliner go out. It makes my eye just like look bigger overall. So that's how I do it. I can always do it like a cosplay eye makeup tutorial if you guys really want, but yeah, that's what I do. Where do you get good, safe contacts for cosplay? I buy almost all my cosplay contacts on Moco Queen. If you can't find them on Moco Queen, I like Pinky Paradise too, but Pinky Paradise takes like a month to ship and Moco Queen takes like a week. So Moco Queen, if you need them like right now, and Pinky Paradise has like, I think a wider selection, but they just take longer. And I think it's because they're overseas, but I've never had any issues with Pinky Paradise or Moco Queen. And you can always like look at reviews to see how good they are. Reviews are going to help you a lot when getting into cosplay. They're going to tell you what products are bad and what products are low-key probably going to kill you. You know, all that jazz. Also, please, for the love of God, when you guys are making cosplays and using dangerous material, wear gloves and wear a hazmat mask, for the love of God. I made the mistake of not wearing a hazmat mask because I was new to cosplay and I didn't know that it was like toxic. I just didn't read the instructions because I'm dumb. Anyways, I almost passed out. So don't do what I did. Wear a mask, like a respirator. later. Pull out the big guns. So I got a lot of people asking about my wigs, and I'm just gonna give like a quick little rundown on what I do with my wigs. I usually buy a base wig on Amazon. Majority of the characters, I'll buy like a longer wig just so I have extra hair to work with in case I run out. But like for Momo, I bought this wig. I actually bought a shoulder length wig, and all I did was I crimped it. I crimped the whole wig. I teased it a little bit, not too much, just a little bit. And then I hairsprayed it. I brushed it out. For this, like these poofy parts, I took some hair, I cut it to the length that I want, and I used a steamer to get like a little point on the end. And I did that for all of these. And then I have a wig head, so I pinned them into place on the wig head just to make sure that they would stay there. And I let them like dry, and I hairsprayed them down. And then I took a straightener and I curled the ends of them. And this little poofy thing on top up here, there's actually a tiny ponytail, like a clear ponytail in there, and that's what's making it go straight up. So that's what I did for this wig. But sometimes for like helmet wigs, I'll cut all the hair off and then I'll glue it back on to the head of the wig. You just watch tutorials. It's very elaborate, but it's a fun process. Oh my god, someone asked, with JoAnn Fabrics closing, where will you be buying fabric for cosplay? I don't know. Walmart doesn't carry a lot of fabric. Amazon, you don't know. I don't buy fabric online. Hell no. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cry. That's what I'm gonna do. Do you use editing to make your cosplay photos better? Yes, I do, actually. I use like 3 different apps. I use Adobe Lightroom, I use Facetune, and I use PixArt sometimes. Now, I know whenever I say I use Facetune, people are like, oh my lord, you edit your body? No, I don't edit my body. I don't reshape my body. I don't reshape anything. What I use Facetune for oftentimes is like taking out a little unwanted thing in the background. It has this like little AI removal feature, but I also use Facetune to go into my photos and brighten certain areas and make them more colorful. And then I also use it to like sharpen certain features of the cosplay, like the sharpness of it, like how popped out it is, if that makes sense. So I do that because that's pretty easy. If I'm like feeling really festive, if I'm feeling really fancy, I'll bring it into Adobe Lightroom and edit it on there. They also ask tips for making a good background and how do you make your photos such good quality. So I take my cosplay photos on a 4K camera. That's probably why they're such good quality. I also do have like some really nice lights. Lighting is so important when it comes to cosplay photos. You need to have like even lighting on your skin. I guess it depends on the character, but you're gonna want to have 2 lights so that you have an even tone going on both sides of your face, so there's no harsh shadows. But if you want harsh shadows, then that's cool. That's the vibe you're going for. As far as making a good background, I recommend getting a little backdrop holder and then just buying backdrops. They're not too expensive. You could honestly use a sheet if you wanted to in the beginning, but I prefer paper backdrops. Paper backdrops are a little more expensive. The one that I have right now is like $90. It's a really big paper backdrop. It's kind of overkill, but I like it a lot just because I don't have to worry about cropping and stuff. The final question I'm going to answer, this person wrote in all caps, how do I glue EVA foam? Contact cement. You're gonna need contact cement. It's not that expensive on Amazon. Order a big tub of it. It works so well. I'm gonna call that good for my cosplay tips and tricks video. I hope I answered a lot of y'all's questions because I can't think of anything else to add on to this, but cosplay is a lot of fun and I genuinely highly recommend it if you guys want to get into any of it. Please let me know if you guys have any other requests or anything in the comments below. But I hope you guys enjoyed and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye everyone. Stay swag.
Take me to the moon and fly me back. Real